The following content is offered in response to a doctrine, which I believe to be among the most rash and ill-advised political schemes pressed upon the American people. It is a doctrine framed for the stirring of passions and resentments, introduced at a time when the minds of many are already unsettled and vulnerable. At a time such as this, calm reason is too easily cast aside. The agitated mind is readily misled, and violent measures are thought salutary. Bold claims are taken for proof, anger applauded as loyalty, and even the most glaring absurdities are received as truth, all because they flatter indignation. The patriots have availed themselves of all such circumstances. Under the banner of revolutionary zeal, in the present situation of affairs, they pour forth their private discontent and self-seeking ambition, and urge upon the people a plan that promises liberty in words and threatens ruin in consequence. They call upon us to renounce our allegiance to our lawful sovereign, to sever every tie that binds us to Great Britain, and to erect in haste a new, wholly unprecedented, and untested republic. Aware that such a proposal must shock many Americans, they insist that its novelty prevents its acceptance, and that time will convert all doubters. But novelty is not wisdom, and change itself is not a virtue. A people cannot secure their future by abandoning caution, and a nation does not preserve liberty by casting aside the foundations of order upon which that liberty has long rested. Despite this, those who remain loyal cannot stand idle in the face of such dangerous counsel. It is no difficult matter to point out the many advantages which will arise from our reconciliation with Great Britain. The blood of the slain, the weeping voice of nature cries, "'Tis time to part," declares Mr. Thomas Paine in his pamphlet Common Sense. Yet, the weeping voice of nature cries just the reverse. The blood of the slain, it cries, "'Tis time to reconcile," and to lay aside the animosities pushing on Britons to shed the blood of Britons. Those who are connected by a shared history, religion, and blood should be united in the bond of mutual affection, as their interests are united. Scripture, Romans 14, reminds us to avoid judgmentalism over quote-unquote disputable matters, urging for acceptance, love, and most importantly, unity. The core argument is that of living for the Lord rather than fighting over opinions while avoiding behaviors so that no man put a stumbling block in his brother's way. Revolutionaries pass judgment on the crown, but let us not therefore judge one another anymore. Jesus tells us to make a righteous judgment, to recognize our own sins before addressing the own of others. If we are Christians, we are commanded to pursue peace and avoid needless offense. Shall we rend our own brethren asunder over matters that may yet be resolved? Not only will reconciliation put an end to the present calamitous war, but it will restore peace. With peace, agriculture, trade, and industry would flourish once more. At present, they droop like plants deprived of sunlight, both in America and Britain, and so long as this remains unsettled, they continue to wither. Peace would bring with it increased immigration, a larger population, and higher valued land. Britain remains the greatest naval power in the world. Her fleets protect American commerce and guard our coasts. Were we to revolt from England, we would forfeit that protection and expose ourselves to the full and formidable might of her navy. To build and to sustain a fleet equal to our needs would demand sums far beyond what prudence would permit. The protection afforded by Britain costs not a 50th part of what it would require for us to provide it ourselves. In matters of trade, we enjoy access to some of the finest manufacturers in the world, particularly in metals and goods essential to daily life. British linens and woolens are of superior quality and price. Commerce under union has enriched both nations. I do not deny that many are drawn to alternate ideas out of authentic hope for security and a voice in their governments. This hope should not be shamed. Hope, however, when untempered by prudence, may become extremely dangerous. Liberty without order is simply confusion. This is independence pursued in haste, exchanging a distant dominion for domestic discord. The promise of a quote-unquote perfect republic must be weighed against the certainty of an untried experiment. Let us not mistake passion for principle, and let us not mistake impatience for courage. The future of this continent will not be secured by rhetoric, but rather by measured judgment. If we truly wish to serve America, we must seek the wisest solution. This method of independence is not the only alternative to slavery under Britain. Peaceful negotiation may still protect our rights, and Britain is likely to agree to fair terms. Liberty, if needed, may be accomplished through legal and constitutional protections under a mixed regime of monarch and parliament, within a society oriented hierarchically. Proper, wise negotiation permits the continent to grow stronger, wealthier, and overall more prosperous. Let us therefore choose peace over pride. In preserving the order that has long preserved our liberty, we are preserving liberty itself.